Hello and welcome to a Midzoomer Night's Dream. I'm Diane Timmerman, Executive Artistic Director of the Indianapolis Shakespeare Company. I'm here in beautiful Riverside Park where we hope to perform this summer, but due to the pandemic, we could not. Please join us next summer in summer 2021 at the beautiful Taggart Memorial Main Stage Amphitheater, which you can see is under construction right now. It'll be done for summer 2021. We'll all gather together and present A Midsummer Night's Dream live at that time. Meantime, I hope you enjoy our Midzoomer Night's Dream. The script was put together in innovative and exciting ways by company member Ryan Artsberger. Lauren Morris directed for us. You'll see a fabulous group of local professional Indianapolis actors in this upcoming video. We all hope you truly enjoy A Midzoomer Night's Dream. Stay tuned after it. Lauren and Ryan are going to talk a bit about the process, and we'll also have some short words from our fabulous designers. Thank you for joining us, and please enjoy A Midzoomer Night's Dream.
We at Indianapolis Shakespeare wish we could bring you our play in some other form than this.
No, you gotta say, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention, a kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling scene.
Oh, I just wish we could perform in front of a live audience on an actual stage.
Then should the warlike Bottom, like herself, assume the port of Mars.
But pardon, gentles all, the flat, unraised spirits that have dared on this unworthy scaffold to bring forth so great an object.
Can this cockpit hold the vasty woods of Greece? Or may we cram within this virtual O the fairy kingdom that did affright the air at Theseus' court?
Oh, pardon, and let us on your imaginary forces work. Suppose within the girdle of these walls are now confined 4 young wayward lovers
who flee a parent's loving tyranny.
Piece out our imperfections with your thoughts. Think when we talk of fairies that you see them,
Printing their proud hooves in the receiving earth.
for 'tis your thoughts that now must make fairy wings.
Carry them here and there, jumping o'er times.
Admit me, chorus, to this comedy, who, prologue like your humble patience pray, gently to hear, kindly to judge our play. Is all our company here?
You were best to call them generally man by man according to the script.
Here is the scroll of every man's name which is thought fit through all Athens to play in our interlude before the Duke and the Duchess on his wedding day at night.
First, good Peter Quince, say what the play treats on, then read the names of the actors, and so grow on to a point.
Mary, our play is the most lamentable comedy and cruel death of Pyramus and Thisbe.
A very good piece of work, I assure you, and a merry. Now, good Peter Quince, call your actors by the scroll. Masters, spread yourselves.
Answer as I call you. Nick Bottom the Weaver.
Ready, name what part I am for, and proceed.
You, Nick Bottom, are set down for Pyramus.
Yes! What is Pyramus, a lover or a tyrant?
A lover that kills himself most gallantly for love.
That will ask for some tears in the true performing of it.
Mhm.
If I do it, let the audience look to their eyes. I will move storms. I will condole in some measure. To the rest.
Okay.
My chief humor is for a tyrant. I could play Hercules rarely, or a part to tear a cat in to make all split. The raging rocks and shivering shocks shall break the locks of prison gates, and Phoebus' car shall shine from far and make and mar the foolish fates. This was lofty. Now name the rest of the players.
Francis Flute, the bellows mender.
Here, Peter Quince.
You must take Thisbe on you.
Oh, what is Thisbe? A wandering knight?
It is the lady that Pyramus must love.
Oh, nay, faith. Let not me play a woman. I have a beard coming.
Oh, that's all one. You shall play it in a mask, and you may speak as small as you will.
And I may hide my face. Let me play Thisbe too. I will speak in a monstrous little voice. Thisne, Thisne. Ah, Pyramus, my lover dear, thy Thisbe dear, and lady dear.
No, you must play Pyramus, and Flute, you Thisbe.
Well, proceed.
Robin Starveling, the tailor.
Here, Peter Quince.
Robin Starveling, you must play Thisbe's mother. Tom Snout, the tinker.
Hey, here, Peter Quince.
You, Pyramus' father, myself, Thisbe's father, Snug the joiner, you, the lion's part, and I hope there is a play fitted.
Have you the lion's part written? Pray you, if be, give it me, for I am slow of study.
Oh, you may do it extempore, for it is nothing but roaring.
Let me play the lion too. I will roar that I will do any man's good heart to hear me. I will roar that I will make the Duke say, let her roar again. Let her roar again. Oh.
If you should do it too terribly, you would fright the Duchess and the ladies, and they would shriek, and that were enough to hang us all.
That would hang us, every mother's son.
I grant you, friends, if that you should fright the ladies out of their wits, they would have no more discretion but to hang us. But I will aggravate my voice so that I will roar you as gently as any sucking dove. I will roar, and 'twere any nightingale. Oh, roar.
You can play no part but Pyramus, for Pyramus is a sweet-faced man, a most proper man as you shall see in a summer's day, a most lovely, gentleman-like man. Therefore you must needs play Pyramus.
Well, I will undertake it. What beard were I best to play it in?
Oh, why, what you will.
I will discharge it.
But masters, here are your parts, and I am to entreat you, request you, and desire you to come them by tomorrow night and meet me in the palace wood a mile without the town at moonlight. There we will rehearse, For if we meet in the city, we shall be dogged with company and all our devices known. In the meantime, I will draw a bill of properties such as our play wants. I pray you, fail me not.
We will meet, and there we may rehearse most obscenely and courageously. Take pains. Be perfect. Adieu.
At the Duke's Oak we meet.
Enough! Hold or cut bowstrings. Oh. How do I stop this? How do I?
Now to your mind's eye appear a fairy realm, in forest widely rich, and at the helm a king and queen who constantly do fight, darkening day and disquieting night. For now the king is passing fell and wrath, because the queen as her attendant hath a lovely boy, stolen from an Indian king. She never had so sweet a changeling. And jealous Oberon would have the child, knight of his train, to trace the forests wild. But she, perforce, withholds the loved boy, crowns him with flowers, and makes him all her joy. And now they never meet, but they do brawl. But peace, they come. You'll see what doth befall.
Ill met by moonlight, proud Titania.
What? Jealous Oberon. Fairy, skip hence, I have forsworn his bed and company.
Harry, rash wanton! Am not I thy lord?
Then I must be thy lady. But I know when thou hast stolen away from fairyland, and in the shape of Corin sat all day playing on pipes of corn and versing love to amorous Phillida. Why art thou here, come from the farthest steppe of India, but that forsooth the bouncing Amazon, your buskant mistress and your warrior love, to Theseus must be wedded, and you come to give their bed joy and prosperity.
How canst thou thus for shame, Titania, glance at my credit with Hippolyta, knowing I know thy love to Theseus?
These are the forgeries of jealousy. And never since the midsummer spring met we on hill, in dale, forest, or mead, by paved fountain, or by rushy brook, or in the beached margent of the sea, to dance our ringlets to the whistling wind. But with thy brawls thou hast disturbed our sport.
Therefore the winds, piping to us in vain, as in revenge, have sucked up from the sea contagious fogs, which, falling in the land, hath every petty river made so proud that they have overborne their continents.
The ox hath therefore stretched his yoke in vain. The plowman lost his sweat, and the green corn hath rotted ere his youth attained a beard. The fold stands empty in the drowned field, and crows are fatted with the Murian flock. The human mortals want their winter cheer. No night is now with him or carol blessed. Therefore the moon, the governess of floods, pale in her anger, washes all the air, that rheumatic diseases do abound.
And through this distemperature we see the seasons alter. Hoary-headed frosts fall in the fresh lap of the crimson rose, and on old winter's chin and icy crown an odorous chaplet of sweet summer buds is as in mockery set. The spring, the summer, the childing autumn, angry winter change their wonted liveries, and the mazed world by their increase now knows not which is which.
The same progeny of evils comes from our debate, from our dissension. We are their parents and original.
Do you amend it then? It lies in you. Why should Titania cross her Oberon? I do but beg a little changeling boy to be my henchman.
Set your heart at rest. The fairyland buys not the child of me. His mother was a votress of my order, and in the spiced Indian air by night full often hath she gossiped by my side, and sat with me on Neptune's yellow sands, marking the embarked traders on the flood, when we would laugh to see the sails conceive and grow big-bellied with the wanton wind, which she, with pretty and with swimming gait, following, her womb then rich with my young squire, would imitate and sail upon the land to fetch me trifles and return again as from a voyage rich with merchandise. But she, being mortal, of that boy did die. And for her sake I do rear up her boy, and for her sake I will not part with him.
How long within this wood intend you stay?
Perchance till after Theseus' wedding day. If you will patiently dance in our rounds and see our moonlight revels, go with us. If not, shun me, and I will spare your haunts.
Give me that boy, and I will go with thee.
Not for thy fairy kingdom. Fairies away, we shall chide downright if I longer stay.
Now to that selfsame wood send your mind's eye, and see 4 lovers enter by and by. One Hermia, who flees her father's wrath, followed close by faithful Lysander, who hath promised to carry her off and so to wed. Along the way, Helena, Hermia's friend from birth, hath told Demetrius of their runaway mirth. Demetrius, who once swore his love to her, now swears he loves Hermia forever. To fix this love square gone awry, the fairy king hath sent his right-hand guy to put this play aright with magic flower, whose milk will make one sleeping bee madly in love with the first thing they see.
Okay, I gotta switch this to prose real quick. So she, Hermia, is in love with him, Lysander, and he with her, so they run away to elope. Now, she, Helena, is her, Hermia, best friend, and she's in love with him, Demetrius. But Demetrius is in love with Hermia. So they follow them into the woods. Now, Oberon tells Puck to fix it by applying the juice of a magic flower to the sleeping eye of an Athenian guy. Puck applies it to the wrong sleeper. So the fairy king uses the flower on Demetrius's eyes. Now both men are in love with Helena, and comedy ensues. Got it?
Why should you think that I should woo and scorn? Scorn and derision never comes in tears. Look, when I vow, I weep. And vows so born in their nativity, all truth appears. How can these things in me seem scorn to you? Bearing the badge of faith to prove them true.
You do advance your cunning more and more when truth kills truth. Oh, devilish holy prey. These vows are Hermia's. Will you give her or?
I had no judgment when to her I swore.
Nor none in my mind. Now you give her or.
Demetrius loves her, and he loves not you.
Oh.
Helen, goddess, nymph, perfect, divine, to what, my love, shall I compare thine eyne? Crystal is muddy. How ripe in show thy lips those kissing cherries tempting grow. When thou hold'st up thy hand, let me kiss this princess of pure love, this seal of bliss.
Oh, spite! Oh, hell! I see you are all bent to set against me for your merriment. If you were civil and knew courtesy, you would not do me thus much injury. Can you not hate me, as I know you do, but you must join in souls to mock me too? If you are men, as men you are in show, you would not use a gentle lady so to bow and swear and super praise my parts, when I'm sure you hate me with your hearts. You both are rivals and love Hermia, and now both rivals to mock Helena. A trim exploit, a manly enterprise to conjure tears up in a poor maid's eyes.
You are unkind, Demetrius. Be not so, for you love Hermia. This you know I know. And here, with all goodwill, with all my heart, In Hermia's love, I yield you up my part, and yours of Helena to me bequeath, who I do love and will do to my death.
Never did mockers waste more idle breath.
Lysander, keep thy Hermia, I will none. If e'er I loved her, all that love is gone. My heart to her but as guest-wise sojourned, and now to Helen it is home returned, there to remain.
It is not so.
Disparage not the faith thou dost not know, lest to thy peril thou abide it dear. Look where thy love comes. Yonder is thy dear.
Thou art not by mine eye, Lysander found, mine ear. I think it brought me to that sound. But why unkindly didst thou leave me so?
Why should he stay whom love doth press to go?
What love could press Lysander from my side?
Lysander's love that would not let him bide. Fair Helena, who more engilds the night than all yon fiery O's and eyes of light. Why seekest thou me? Cannot this make thee know the hate I bear thee made me leave thee so?
You speak not as you think. It cannot be.
Lo, she is one of this confederacy. Now I perceive they have conjoined all three to fashion this false sport in spite of me. Injurious Hermia, most ungrateful maid, have you conspired? Have you with these contrived to bait me with this foul derision? Is all the counsel that we two have shared, the sisters' vows, the hours that we have spent when we have chid the hasty-footed time for parting us, oh, is all forgot? All school days, friendship, childhood, innocence. And will you rent our ancient love asunder to join with men in scorning your poor friend? It is not friendly. 'Tis not maidenly. Our sex, as well as I may chide you for it, though I alone do feel the injury.
I am amazed at your passionate words. I scorn you not. It seems that you scorn me.
Have you not set Lysander as in scorn to follow me and praise my eyes and face? And made your other love, Demetrius, who even but now did spurn me with his foot to call me goddess, nymph, divine and rare, precious, celestial. Wherefore speaks he this to her he hates? And wherefore doth Lysander deny your love so rich within his soul, and tender me forsooth affection but by your setting on, by your consent? What? Do I be not so in grace as you, so hung upon with love, so fortunate? But miserable most to love unloved, this you should pity rather than despise.
I understand not what you mean by this.
I do persever, counterfeit sad looks, make mouths upon me when I turn my back, wink at each other, hold the sweet jest up. This sport, well carried, shall be chronicled. If you have any pity, grace, or manners, you would not make me such an argument, but fare ye well, 'tis partly mine own fault, which death or absence soon shall remedy.
Stay gentle, Helena. Hear my excuse, my love, my life, my soul, fair Helena.
Oh, excellent.
Sweet, do not scorn her so.
If she cannot entreat, I can compel.
Thou canst compel no more than she entreats. Your threats have no more strength than her weak praise. Helen, I love thee. By my life I do. I swear by that which I will lose for thee to prove him false that says I love thee not.
I say I love thee more than he can do.
If thou sayest so, withdraw and prove it too.
Quick! Come!
Lysander, where to tense all this?
Hang off, thou cat, thou burr, vile thing, let loose, or I will shake thee from me like a serpent.
Why have you grown so rude? What change is this, sweet love?
Thy love? Hated poison hits.
Do you not just?
Yes, sooth, and so do you.
Demetrius, I will keep my word with thee.
I would I had your bond, for I perceive a weak bond holds you. I'll not trust your word.
What, should I hurt her? Strike her? Kill her dead? Although I hate her, I will not harm her so.
What? Can you do me greater harm than hate? Hate me, wherefore? Oh, me! What news, my love? Am not I Hermia? Are not you Lysander? I am as fair now as I was erewhile. Since night you loved me. Yet since night you left me. Why then you left me, the gods forbid! In earnest, shall I say?
Aye, by my life, and never did desire to see thee more. Therefore, be out of hope, of question, of doubt, be certain. Nothing truer. 'Tis no jest that I do hate thee and love Helena.
Oh, me. You juggler, you canker blossom, you thief of love. What, have you come by night and stolen my love's heart from him?
Have you no modesty? No maiden shame? No touch of bashfulness? What? Will you tear impatient answers from my gentle tongue? Fie, fie, you counterfeit, you puppet, you!
Puppet? Why so? Aye, that way goes the game. Now I perceive that she hath made compare between our statures. She hath urged her height, and with her personage, her tall personage, her height forsooth, she hath prevailed with him. And are you grown so high in his esteem because I am so impish and so low? How low am I, thou painted maypole? Speak! How low am I? I am not yet so low, but that my nails can reach unto thine eyes.
I pray you, though you mock me, gentlemen, let her not hurt me. I was never cursed. I have no gift at all in shrewishness. I am a right maid for my cowardice. Let her not strike me. You perhaps may think because she is something lower than myself that I can match her.
Lower, hark again.
Good Hermia, do not be so bitter with me. I evermore did love you, Hermia. Did ever keep your counsels, never wronged you, save that in love unto Demetrius I told him of yourself unto this wood. He followed you for love, I followed him. But he hath chid me hence, and threatened me to strike me, spurn me, nay, to kill me too. And now, so you will let me quiet go, to Athens will I bear my folly back, and follow you no further. Let me go. You see how simple and how fond I am.
Why, get you gone. Who is that hinders you?
A foolish heart that I leave here behind.
What, with Lysander?
With Demetrius.
Be not afraid. She shall not harm thee, Helena.
No, sir, she shall not, though you take her part.
Oh, when she's angry, she is keen and shrewd. She was a vixen when we went to school, and though she be but little, she is fierce.
Little again? Nothing but low and little. Why will you suffer her to flout me thus? Let me come to her!
Get you gone, you imp! You minimus of kindred knot-grass maid, you bead, you acorn.
You are too officious in her behalf that scorns your services. Let her alone. Speak not of Helena.
Now follow, if thou darest, to try whose right of thine or mine is most in Helena.
Follow? Nay, I'll go with thee, cheek by jowl.
You, mistress, all this coil is long of you. Nay, go not back.
I will not trust you, nor longer stay in your cursed company. Your hands than mine are quicker for a fray. My legs are longer, though, to run away.
I am amazed, and know not what to say.
Thus, with imagined wing, our swift scene flies. The fairy queen, upon whose sleeping eyes the juice of that same potent magic flower, Oberon, dropped, sneaking to her bower, that the next thing she waking looks upon, she'll fall deep in love with, and anon. Then laugh I to king in forest grove, my mistress with a monster is in love. Near to her close and consecrated bower, when she was in her dull and sleeping hour, a crew of patches, rude mechanicals, that work for bread upon Athenian stalls, were met together to rehearse a play, intended for great Theseus' nuptial day. The shallowest thick skin of that barren sort, who Pyramus presented in their sport, forsook her scene and entered in a break. When I did her at disadvantage take, an ass's knoll I fixed on her head. Anon, her Thisbe must be answered, and forth my mimic comes. When they her spy, quick as light, away her fellows fly. I led them on in this distracted fear, and left sweet Pyramus translated there. When in that moment so it came to pass, Titania waked, and straightway loved an ass.
Come, sit thee down upon this flowery bed, while I thy amiable cheeks do coy, and stick musk roses in thy sleek, smooth head, and kiss thy fair, large ears, my gentle joy.
Where's Peas Blossom?
Ready.
Scratch my head, Peas Blossom. Oh. Where's Monsieur Cobweb?
Ready.
Monsieur Cobweb, good monsieur, get your weapons in your hand and kill me a red-hipped, humble bee on the top of a thistle. And good monsieur, bring me the honey bag. And do not fret yourself too much in the action, but monsieur, have a care the honey bag break not. I would be loath to have you overflown with a honey bag, signor. Where's mustard seed?
Ready.
Give me your neef, mustard seed. I pray you, leave your courtesy, sir.
What's your will?
Nothing but to help Cavallari Cobweb to scratch. I must to the barber's, monsieur, for methinks I am marvelous hairy about the face, and I am such a tender ass. If my face do but tickle me, I must scratch.
What? Wilt thou hear some music, my sweet love?
I have a reasonable good ear in music. Let us have the tongs and the bones.
Or say, sweet love, what thou desirest to eat.
Truly, a peck of provender. I could munch your good dry oats. Methinks I have a great desire to a bottle of hay. Good hay, sweet hay, hath no fellow.
I have a venturous fairy, Moth, who will seek the squirrel's hoard and fetch thee new nuts.
I'd rather a handful or two of dried peas. I pray you, let none of your people stir me. I have an exposition of sleep come upon me.
Oh, sleep thou, and I will wind thee in my arms. Fairies, be gone, and be always away. So doth the woodbine, the sweet honeysuckle gently entwist, the female ivy so enrings the barky fingers of the elm. Oh, how I love thee, how I dote on thee.
Now entertain conjecture of a time when creeping murmur and the pouring dark fills the wide vessel of the universe. Great Theseus and Hippolyta are wedded, and lovers four returned from forest wild, and the evening's entertainment set to be a tedious, brief scene of young Pyramus and his love Thisbe. Very tragical mirth. Lord, what fools these mortals be.
Gentles, perchance you wonder at the show, but wonder on till truth make all things plain. This man is Pyramus, if you would know. This beauteous lady Thisbe is certain. This man with lime and rough cast doth present wall, that vile wall which did these lovers sunder. And through wall's hole, poor souls, they are content to whisper, for the which let no man wonder. This man with lanthorn dog and bush of thorn presenteth moonshine. For if you will know, by moonshine did these lovers think no scorn to meet at Ninus' tomb? There to woo. This grisly beast, which Lion hight by name, the trusty Thisbe, coming first by night, did scare away, or rather did affright. Let Lion, moonshine, wall, and lovers twain at large discourse, while here they do remain.
In this same interlude, it doth befall that I, one Snout by name, present a wall. And such a wall as I would have you think, that within it a crannied hole did wink, through which the lovers Pyramus and Thisbe did whisper, often very secretly. This loam, this rough cast, and this stone doth show that I am that same wall. The truth is so. And this the cranny is, right and sinister, through which the fearful lovers are to whisper.
O grim look night, O night with hue so black, O night whichever art when day is not. O night, alack, alack, alack. I fear my Thisbe's promise is forgot. And thou, O wall, O sweet and lovely wall that stands between her father's ground and mine. Now wall, O sweet and lovely wall, show me thine O to blink through with mine eyne. Thanks, courteous wall. Jove shield thee well for this. But what do I see? No Thisbe do I see. Oh, wicked wall, through whom I see no bliss. Cursed be thy stones for thus deceiving me.
Oh, wall, full often hast thou heard my moans for parting my fair Pyramus and me. My cherry lips have often kissed thy stones. Oh, thy stones with lime and hair knit up in thee.
Your voice. Now will I to the hole to spy, and I can hear my Thisbe's face. Thisbe.
My love? Thou art my love, I think?
Oh, kiss me through the hole of this vile wall.
Oh, kiss the wall's hole, not your lips at all.
Wilt thou at Ninny's tomb meet me straight away?
Tide life, tide death, I come without delay.
Thus have I wall my part discharged so, and being done, thus wall away doth go.
You ladies, You whose gentle hearts do fear the smallest monstrous mouse that creeps on floor, may now perchance quake and tremble here, when lion, rough with wildest rage, doth roar. Then know that I, one Snug the joiner, am a lion fell, nor else a lion's dam. For if I should, as a lion, come into this place in strife, 'twere a pity of my life.
This lantern doth the horned moon present, myself the man in the moon doth seem to be. This lantern doth the horned moon present, myself the man in the moon doth seem to be. All that I have to say is to tell you that the lantern is the moon, I the man in the moon, this thorn bush, my thorn bush, and this dog, my dog.
This is old Ninny's tomb. Where is my love?
Sweet moon, I thank thee for thy sunny beams. I thank thee, moon, for shining now so bright that by thy gracious, golden, glittering gleams I trust a taste of truest Thisbe sight. But stay, O spite, but mark, poor night, what dreadful dole is here? Eyes, do you see? How can this be? Oh, dainty duck, oh dear, thy mantle good. What? Stained with blood. Approach, ye furies fell! Oh, fates, come, come, cut, thread, and thrum! Quail, crush, conclude, and quell! Oh, wherefore, nature, didst thou lion's frame, since lion vile hath here deflowered my dear, which is, no, which was the fairest dame that lived, that looked, that liked, that licked, that loathed, that walked, that loved with cheer. Come, tears, confound, out sword, and wound that pap of Pyramus eye, that lift, pap, where heart doth hop. Thus die I. Thus, thus. Now am I dead? Now am I fled? My soul is in the sky. Tongue, lose thy light. Moon, take thy flight. Now, die, 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 die. Die, 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 die. Die. No.
Asleep, my love? What, dead, my dove? Oh, Pyramus, arise! Speak, speak! Quite dumb? Dead? Oh, dead? Oh! A tomb must cover thy sweet eyes. These lily lips, this cherry nose, these yellow cowslip cheeks are gone. Are gone. Lovers make moan. His eyes were green as leeks. Oh, sisters three, come, come to me. With hands as pale as milk they lay in gore, since you have shore with shears these thread of silk. Tongue not a word. Come trusty sword, come blade, my breasts in brew. And farewell, friends. Thus this be ends. Adieu, adieu, adieu.
Will it please you to see the epilogue?
No epilogue, I pray you, for your play needs no excuse. If we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended, that you have but slumbered here, while these visions did appear, and this weak and idle theme no more yielding but a dream. Gentles, do not reprehend. If you pardon, we will mend. And as I am an honest Puck, if we have unearned luck now to scape the serpent's tongue, we will make amends ere long, else the Puck a liar call. So, good night unto you all. Give me your hands, if we be friends, and Robin shall restore amends.
Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Ryan.
Do you want to tell the audience who you are?
I would love to. I'm Lauren Morris, and I am a company member emerita of Indianapolis Shakespeare. And I am very honored to say that I helped direct this production of a Midzoomer Night's Dream. And we dearly hope that we will be directing a live production with you next year.
And I'm Ryan Artsberger. I'm a company member and sometimes actor, sometimes director. And I kind of put together the text of this presentation. And I worked as the text analysis coach kind of position.
Yeah.
So we're just going to have a little conversation, Lauren and I, and hope that it gives you a glimpse into the work a little bit. So Lauren, I just wanted to know how you see this play, and maybe all of Shakespeare, through the lens of gender.
I think that's complicated, and I have this view of it that Shakespeare's a relationship I'm in, I suppose. And I think a lot of classical theater, actually, but Shakespeare specifically, because Shakespeare's always really hit me in my guts. It's always made sense to me and really moved me. And I've spent years revering Shakespeare, but I think, like any good relationship, that loving something or someone means that you can have a dialogue about what that relationship is. And there are certainly parts of Shakespeare, and specifically this play, as joyful and magical and funny as this play is, there's some real violence in this play toward women specifically, and that is problematic to me, and I can't pretend like it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that I did when we decided that this was going to be our production, which I wanted it to be, I was excited about it because Midsummer under the stars outside in a new theater space potentially was really exciting. Like a whole different level of magic. But I sat down and had a pretty serious talk with myself and Shakespeare about what that meant to us now. That women are dismissed and punished for having intelligent thought or desires, that there's potentially some assault it's funny, but it's like you can't ignore that Titania and Bottom, that Titania is drugged, and I don't know, it's tricky. And so one of the things that I wanted to explore in casting was looking at the text and saying, well, okay, does this person have to be a man? Like, does this relationship have to be male and female? Could it be female and female? What does gender mean? What does gender lend to power dynamics? How do power dynamics shift when gender shifts? How important is gender at all in terms of power, and certainly in terms of the fairy world, in a place that is a fantasy, that is not real? So can we just throw gender out entirely? And by doing so, can we allow a new perspective, questions, a different way of seeing this text that has been with us for so long? And I think we can. I think the key to it all is that the text stands up. There's truth so peerless and so deep within these words that it stands up. We can ask questions of it. It's strong enough. It can handle it. And so that's why I think about it like a good relationship, because like a relationship can handle that too. It can handle challenges. It can handle questions and searching. And so I think that this is where we are now with it. I love what you did with this script to sort of also take this position we're in now with COVID and the fact that we are in this format, and you sort of took a sense of playfulness and a little poking fun at the fact that this is not live theater. So I'd like to hear about that from you, and also about your approach to the text and these words that I love so much.
Well, I think it's basically like a reflection of what you said, which is that it stands up. The text stands up to as much as we can put into it, as much as we can turn it, as much as we can flip it, and it will. I had a teacher in college in an English class, and he said, and it was about dissecting poems, and he said, you can't break this poem. It's going to maintain its form. So feel free to rip it apart as much as you can. It's still there. And I say to, whenever I work with students on Shakespeare, and I say to actors whenever I'm the director, basically like, plunge all of your real self into this text and try to rip it apart. It won't rip. It'll move where you go, like a balloon. It'll expand to whichever direction you want it to go. And it'll hold up under that. So without even ever having verbalized that to each other, we were working on that same thing from two sides on this project already. So that's pretty beautiful, really.
It is beautiful, really. I am really aware of what an honor it is to come back and do this. I've been away from Indianapolis for a few years, and getting to come back and work with colleagues and friends, and yeah, it's a big deal. It's really an honor to work on this with you.
Likewise. And it will be an honor for Indianapolis to have you next year when we do this.
Yes, in person.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Hi, I'm Guy Clark, and I am the costume designer for the Indy Shakespeare Company's production of Midsummer Night's Dream. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about, well, first about costume design in general and my approach to it, and then we'll talk about Midsummer Night's Dream. For me as a costume designer, what I'm trying to help do is tell the story in the way that the set tells the story too. And what costumes can do is tell stuff about the character and about the environment without using words. And so where the play is set influences how I design completely, because I have to think about how do the people who live in this world dress. And then I think about what do these people do for a living, and I think about what the character is using their own clothes to tell people. We all costume ourselves every day. We decide what we're going to wear, and some days we have a very specific message. We're going to put on our power suit, we've got a big meeting and we want to impress people. Some days, we just want to run out and buy milk at the grocery, and so we throw on our yoga clothes or whatever. We all have our own idea of who we are and who we want people to think we are. And that's what costume design tries to do. For Midsummer, the thing that's amazing about the play Midsummer, it's my favorite Shakespeare. It's not a complicated play, really, and it's not terribly draining or dramatic. It's a comedy, but what I love about it is it's so malleable, and you can transform it to anything. You're not setting, very rarely are you setting it in ancient Greece where it allegedly takes place. We're not going to have people in togas. That doesn't really mean anything to a modern audience. And with Indy Shakespeare, I've sort of adopted what I call a style that is multiverse contemporary. So it can maybe be here, maybe be somewhere else, maybe be a different time, maybe be a completely different reality. But it's still, on some level, recognizable to the audience. And so with Midsummer, I've seen so many incredible productions, and I've been so lucky. I have worked on other productions of it. I was lucky to design a production of that a couple of years ago at Butler with Constance Macy directing, who was going to be playing Titania in our production. And I also got to work on a production that Jen Johansson was in at the Indiana Repertory Theater, where she played Titania. And in this production, she'll be playing Oberon, which is a great, fun way for us to be looking at gender roles. And I'm so fortunate that I've gotten to work with both of those actors before and design for them before. I'm in a rare position often at Indy Shakes that I get to design specifically for actors that I know. And so I can think about how they move in clothes, what works well on them, and how they will use those costumes to help tell that story. And what's going to be fascinating is for Titania and Oberon, I've designed different versions of those characters, even as early as when I was a college student for a class exercise. Here are some versions that I did at 18 years old for an idea of who Titania might be in this production. A very sort of crunchy granola hippie girl. And then the assignment was to do a complete opposite of that. And so for this production, I did sort of like a superhero idea for that Titania. That was really just an exercise. But I had been thinking about fantasy ideas for Midsummer for most of my career because I love that play. And in fact, about 7 years ago, before I actually worked on a production of it, I started designing, just for my portfolio, sort of my dream production. And that was my Titania from that. Very influenced at the time by Daphne Guinness, who was a big inspiration for Alexander McQueen and for obviously Lady Gaga, which is what comes to mind in this version of it. Again, this was just a fantasy of if I ever got to build and do my favorite one. And then when I got to do the production at Butler, you can see that I kind of there are elements to what we did at Butler in this costume. So and also we got to do Oberon. Again, this was just a sort of fantasy of who he might be. I think I was heavily influenced by imagery of Lenny Kravitz for this character with his big feather boa and that sort of stuff. And when I used this idea, Bob Mackie once said, "Don't save things, don't save ideas, hoping that you'll get to use it later. Just use them. You'll never run out of ideas." And so I certainly used this look for elements of the version of Oberon that we did at Butler. It was sort of a Game of Thrones kind of feel for him. And I just used that again. And then for Puck in that fantasy version that I was doing, I was very influenced by a model at the time who was heavily tattooed in skeletons. And I used this look later for a character in The Winter's Tale, or A Winter's Tale, I believe it is. But our production at Butler had a very different kind of Puck, a little bit more bird-like. So one of the things that'll be exciting is working with a whole different cast of people for that production, and who Constance Macy might be as this Titania, and same with Jen Johansson, who she might be. These are two looks. That was Jen Johansson in Coriolanus, who's playing sort of an Amazonian warrior, and Constance was playing the mother of the lead character, sort of a witchy character, which is funny because I think again, I knew who they were and I designed them for those actors, but Titania and Oberon in our version are going to be very different than that look for those actors. And I will think about how does Jen Johansson embody that role, and how does Constance Macy embody that role, and then the rest of the cast and our incredible director. She and I have had some conversations about how we play with gender. And one of the things that's so interesting about many of Shakespeare's plays is that frequently there is a conversation between the city and the country, and the idealized forest where the lovers run away and they can leave behind the rules and the restrictions of the city and go into the wild world of the forest. And I think we'll play on that quite a bit for what freedoms do they find, specifically a lot dealing with gender, and the freedoms that they might find in the forest. So I hope you'll come see it. We'll be producing next summer at Riverside Park at 2021. Thanks.
Hi, I am Laura Glover, and I'm the lighting designer for Indianapolis Shakespeare Company's production of Midsummer Night's Dream. Midsummer is such a wonderful, wonderful play. I have long desired to light it. I am so happy I'm going to be able to get to light it. It's been on my bucket list for years and years and years. I've lit many a Shakespeare production. But Midsummer is special. What I think is so special about it is the magicness, the magical reality of it. Just how wonderful all the characters are, going from the lovers through all the fairies, what a rascal Puck is, how beautiful and yet how scary are Oberon and Titania, and then just how silly and how grounded the mechanicals are. There's a lot there for any designer to get their teeth into. But lighting, I think, is going to bring it's going to add that touch of magic to the play that's already there. So it's just going to support. And that's what we do. We support what the play says. We support what the actors do, what the director's vision is. I can't wait to light it, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful summer. Stay safe.
I'm Bart Simpson, member of Indy Shakes, and Scenic and Properties designer for A Midsummer Night's Dream. Working with the director's vision of a classical Athens with set in its ways, and a wild and dangerous world of nature, I chose the Taggart Memorial as inspiration for the rigid construct of Athens. It looms behind the action, as it will stand above our future productions. To magnify the danger and discomfort of the fairy realm, I enlarged the natural elements. Oak leaves, 6 foot, 8 foot, and 14 foot in size, an acorn 3 foot across close to the audience. This shrinks the Athenian humans to fit the fairy realm as they wander from the city and out of their comfort zone. And secret entrances from under the raked stage let fairies appear in the midst of the action, including from a hollow tree set center stage, all adding to the pandemonium of A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Hi, I'm Todd. I am the composer and sound designer for Indianapolis Shakespeare Company, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my process for Midsummer Night's Dream. I usually start with the script like everyone else. Moreover, though, it's about talking to the director and getting an idea of the feels we're looking for and the emotions we're trying to create and the levels of tension and, happy moments, sad moments, all that kind of stuff. And then we start putting together ideas for what that is going to sound like. Usually it already sounds like something in my head, and then I try really hard to get it out of my head onto some sort of thing that someone can listen to, but it's all invisible and non-tangible, which makes it really confusing in a performing arts situation. So the director and I for Midsummer, we actually sat down and had some really concrete ideas that we agreed upon and sounded really great. There's 3 worlds of music. There's the city, which to me is rhythmic and kind of unfailing rhythm, but it's chunky and it's metallic and it's cold. And then there's the forest, where everything is kind of free and happy and very earthy and acousticy and kind of like that. And then there's the underbelly, where the evil fairies and such that one's going to be really distorted and kind of awkward and dissonant sounding. What I enjoy most about doing sound design is that nobody sees it. And generally nobody sees me. But it's also, people sometimes don't even know that it's happening. A lot of sound designers say that we're successful if no one even knows there was a sound design. So I find that really satisfying, especially in theater, seeing people react and to the sounds, but not really knowing that that's what they're reacting to, especially when it's subtle and like underlying supportive. That's what I really enjoy about doing sound design. We had to postpone Midsummer this year, but more time to work on it. I'm really looking forward to getting together with the whole company again and putting it together next summer. Hope to see you out there.